Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba really is the new itch. In fact, it's so big that it's beating One Piece in certain ways, a franchise with hundreds of games under its belt. What do we mean by that? Well, it's a shonen manga adapted into an anime made by Ufotable that recently took off thanks to some amazing storytelling and stellar animation. Plus, there are tons of twists and turns. Tanjiro is a demon slayer, as much as he doesn't want to be, and these swordsmen can only defeat demons thanks to their Nichirin blades, also known as color-changing blades. Honestly, these weapons are still poorly explained even during the current arc of the manga, and not much is known about their qualities or casting process. So, let's take a look at the prized possession of all demon hunters and see what we can unearth. Ten. Now the name may confuse you, but Nichirin's swords don't really need to be swords. The reason they can kill demons is because of the sunlight they absorb, so the actual shape of the weapon doesn't matter. Now something that can actually cut seems crucial, but the demon slayers could use a Nichirin spoon if they wanted. We don't see many examples on the show, but there are one or two in the manga. Jayame, the rock pillar, is the prime example of this. The blind monk uses an axe and a chain ball weapon that appear to kill demons. So we can only assume that he had them designed specifically for him. It's honestly a great reason to read the manga about anime, so you can see Jayame in action early. 9. Color coordination is important in Demon Slayer, and that only becomes clearer as time goes on. Zenitsu has yellow hair due to his thunder breath, Tanjiro's is red due to his hidden history with the breath of the sun, and most of the pillars also have this similarity. But it's not just a hair, the leaf color can usually be attributed to breath style as well. Yellow is thunder, red is flames, blue is water, green is wind, etc. All the pillars have color on their blades that correlates with their breathing style, but Tanjiro's blade is black. Why? 8. Another thing that hasn't been 100% confirmed, but makes perfect sense, is the depth of color on the sheet. Color-changing blades don't just turn into a fully painted sword of a certain color. Sometimes they do, but mostly it's small touches or patterns of color. Zenitsu, for example, has a blade with a yellow lightning bolt through it. It doesn't have tons of color, but that's because Zenitsu isn't particularly connected to his breathing style, it was something that was imposed on him. Others have more color, all of Tanjiro's sword is black, and even Gyu's sword is not completely blue. 7. Another thing about swords that many people probably assumed was common knowledge is the fact that they only change color once. These are not mood rings, they change color initially and then never again, except for a specific example with Tanjiro. So once you've done your work, the color is locked. Fortunately, the series has never had a breath user who has a sword, then he changed the styles of breath while keeping the same sword, because that would be confusing. But, if new anime kids expected these swords to change color as users grew older, that's not what Demon Slayer has in mind. 6. Just as a knight needs a weaponsmith, a samurai needs a katana craftsman. And thankfully Demon Slayer has a whole village of them. An arc that occurs later in the manga actually takes place entirely in this town. So with every demon hunter comes a blacksmith. They are assigned as soon as an assassin's first sword is crafted, and they are the ones who must craft all of their swords from then on. So far we have only seen 2 of them, but we can confirm that yes, most of them are as eccentric as Higanazuka, the blacksmith who tried to kill Tanjiro for breaking his sword. And yes, they all wear masks. Makes us wonder who were the blacksmiths assigned to all the forage demon hunters we've seen so far. 5. Tanjiro's Nichirin sword seems to be special, although it could honestly be his blood instead of the sword. Tanjiro is descended from a line of warriors who use the breath of the sun. And there have been times when Tanjiro's sword goes from a shade of black to a vibrant red, almost as if it had been pulled straight from the forge. Tanjiro's immediate family are coal gatherers, and his own name translates to a charcoal or charcoal kiln. So this charcoal-colored sheet that turns shiny when exposed to heat is actually more appropriate for our good protagonist than people might have thought. 4. As we said before, the blade color generally represents the user's breathing style, and the blades cannot change color more than once. Due to these two factors, people have unconsciously associated Slayer's swords with the users themselves. But remember, they are just tools. Slayers can use any other Slayer's sword, and they are not tied to any specific fighter at all. Heck, a demon could use one of these swords if they wanted to. There's nothing that makes them specifically dependent on demon slayers, it just happens that these warriors are the best people to use, that's it. 3. First of all, we should probably talk about how these swords are made. These blades are not ordinary iron or steel, they are actually made from a fictional mineral called scarlet ore that can be found on Sunlight Mountain. Because this place is so constantly exposed to sunlight, the mineral itself has absorbed ultraviolet energy and is holding it steady even when forged into a sheet. Now the name is scarlet ore, and while that may suggest fire, scarlet or crimson actually relate more to the breath of the sun. We're fully speculating here, but maybe the mineral has a connection to the original breath style or something. 2. As we said earlier, these blades don't actually exude the solar energy when they swing. It's more like batteries, and the energy contained within is lethal on contact with a demon. That's why we don't see any of the demon slayers using ranged sunlight attacks or anything like that. Demon Slayer may have supernatural elements, but the whole premise is largely based on reality. Still, it makes us wonder, is there anything in this universe that uses scarlet ore like some kind of battery? We know that the wisteria flower can also harm demons, but we'd love to see some other inventions that use any of these weaknesses as a base. 1. Finally, there is no better way to end a discussion of what Nichirin swords are and then summarize what they are not. And one thing that constantly amazes fans of the series is that swords aren't the only thing that can kill demons. First of all, demons can kill other demons. Second, Muzin's blood is a steroid and a deadly poison to demons in certain doses. Third, direct sunlight or even ultraviolet bulbs, if they existed, kill a demon completely. And lastly, the wisteria flower is commonly used as a way to ward off demons, but it can also kill them when mixed with a poison. Flower Pillar Shinobu was known for this, and this poison actually plays a huge role in taking down one of the upper moons later on.